Hello everyone, this is Venisha from Food Tech Network. Today we are going to discuss the question regarding food processing technology and food microbiology. So, before we start our session, I would like to request you to all please do subscribe our channel which is Food Tech Network. Okay, so let's get started. 1. A daily intake of dash calories has been established as the daily reference value DRV. Option A 1700, option B 1900, option C 1800, and option D 2000. Option D, that is 2000. This means that most nutrition label on the food product base their percentage daily value calculation on a 2000 calorie diet, allowing consumer to easily compare the nutrient level across the different foods. 2. The word dash on a label means that the product contains no amount or not only trivial or a physiologically inconsequential amount of one or more than these components: fat, saturated fat, sodium, cholesterol, sugar, and calories. Option A low, option B lean, option C free, and option D reduced. Option C, that is free. When you see fat free, sugar free on a label, it indicates that the product falls under this free category, meaning it contains a negligible amount of that specific mentioned nutrients. Question number 3. The term dash can be used on the label of a food that can be eaten frequently without exceeding the dietary guidelines for one or more of these components: fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, sodiums, and calories. So, option A is free, option B lean, option C reduced, and option D. There is option D, that is low. Low is a term that can be used on a food that can be eaten often without exceeding the recommended amount of nutrients. Question number 4. Claims for dash relationship between a nutrient or a food and the risk of a disease or a health related conditions are now allowed on a food label. Option A health, option B medical, option C education, and option D. So the right answer is claims for a health relationship. Health claims on a food label describe the relationship between a food or a nutrient and the risk of a disease or a health condition. The FDA is responsible for approving and regulating these claims. Question number 5. The DRV for the energy producing nutrients are calculated as fat based on a dash percentage of calories. Option A 30, option B 25, option C 20, and option D 35. Option A, that is 30. This means when determining the recommended daily value of fat, it is typically calculated as a 30% of a person's total calorie intake. Question number 6. If all the world's undernourished people were gathered in a one place and their population would be greater than every continent except dash. Option A Asia, option B South America, option C Europe, and option D North America. So Asia, that is option A. The majority of the world's undernourished population reside in Asia, meaning if you combine all the undernourished people, the total value would be larger than any other continent except Asia. Question number 7. Dash implies a person eats but does not receive the amount of nutrients needed to keep the body healthy. Option A undernutrition, option B hunger, option C malnutrition, and option D starvation. There is option C, that is malnutrition. Basically, malnutrition refers to an imbalance in the nutrient the body needs and the nutrient it actually receives, which can include not getting enough essential nutrients even if someone is eating food. Question number 8. In developing countries, the time before dash is most difficult for meeting nutritional needs of the people. Option A planting, option B winter, option C harvest, and option D spring. Option B, that is winter. The statement is generally true. In many developing countries, the period just before winter is often the most challenging time for meeting nutritional needs due to dwindling food supplies from the harvest season, which is typically occurs earlier in the year and leaving a gap before the next harvest can begin, particularly when combined with the increased calorie demands of a colder weather. Number 9. Eradication of dash is essential to improve the access to food. Option A malnutrition, option B poverty, option C undernutrition, and option D terrorism. So the B, that is poverty. Eradicating poverty is essential to improving the access to food. Poverty is a major cause of food insecurity and erodes the right to adequate food. Question number 10. The Declaration on a World Food Safety Pledge it efforts to reducing the number of undernourished people to dash their present level no later than 2015. Option A half, option B one fourth, option C one third, and option D three fourth. Option A, that is half. The Declaration on World Food Security pledged to reduce the number of undernourished people in a half by 2015. Not one third, but the declaration was made in 1996 at the World Food. Question number 11. Dash prepares pies, breads, rolls, muffins, cookies, cakes, icing, and frosting, and many other foods depending on where they work. Option A inspector, option B butcher, option C bakers, and option D chef. So the right answer is that is C, that is bakers. Baker is a professional who specialize in the creation of baking goods which include a wide variety of items like those listed. Dash play an important role in the development of a new food and non-food uses. Option A bakers, option B scientists, option C butchers, and option D inspector. So definitely right answer, that is food scientist. Food scientists use their knowledge of chemistry, biology, microbiology to create a new food product, improve the existing ones, and explore known food application like utilizing the food bioproducts for their industrial purpose. Question number 13. The following part was absent in Leeuwenhoek's microscope. Option A focusing screw, option B lens, option C specimen holder, and option D condenser. Option B, that is lens. The part absent in Leeuwenhoek's microscope was a compound lens system. His microscope only had a single very powerful lens, meaning they lacked the multiple lenses used in a modern compound microscope to achieve their high magnifications. Question number 14. The scientist who laid the theory of spontaneous generation was option A Joseph Lister, option B Robert Koch, option C Francesco Redi, and option D Louis Pasteur. Option D, that is Louis Pasteur. Generally, Aristotle was the first to propose the theory of spontaneous generation, which states that the life can arise from non-living matter. But Louis Pasteur disapproved this theory with the series of uh, experiment based on a spontaneous generations. Number 15. A mixed culture is dash. Option A the same as contained culture. Option B one that has been adequately stirred. Option C one that contains two or more known organisms. And option D a pond sample containing algae and protozoa. So C. A mixed culture is a combination of two or more organisms such as bacteria, fungi, and yeast. A mixed culture can be used in a fermentation and other industrial application. 60. Agar is a superior to gelatin as a solidifying agent because agar dash option A does not melt at a room temperature. Option B solidify at a 75 degrees Celsius. Option C is not usually decomposed by a microorganism. And option D both A and C. Option D that the statement option A and option C both are correct. Basically, agar is a superior to gelatin as a solidifying agent because agar does not melt at a room temperature, as well as it has a higher melting point and it is not readily degraded by the organism, and it also making it a more stable and suitable for a culturing bacteria at various temperature in a microbiological lab. Question number 17. A subculture is a dash. Option A colony growing beneath the media surfaces. Option B cultural made from the contaminant. Option C culture made in an embryo. And option D culture made from an isolated colony. Option D. In microbiology, a subculture refers to a culture grown from a single isolated colony, meaning it is derived from a distinct population of a microorganism separated from a mixed sample. Question number 18. The specimen for an electron microscope is always dash. Option A stained with dye, option B sliced into a thin section, option C killed, and option D viewed directly. C, that is killed. The specimen for an electron microscope is always killed because the vacuum environment required for electron microscopy cannot sustain living organism, and therefore the samples must be prepared by killing or often sectioning them into a thin slices before the observation. Number 19. In general, fungi derive nutrients through option A photosynthesis, option B engulfing bacteria, option C digesting organic substrate, and option D parasitism. Option C, that is digesting a organic substrate. Fungi is generally derive nutrients by absorbing or digesting organic compounds from the environment through a process called absorptions. 20. Viruses are known to infect dash option A plant, option B bacteria, option C fungi, and option D all the microorganisms. So is correct. That is all the listed microorganisms can be infected through virus. And viruses are a small germs or pathogens that can infect you and make you sick. They can infect human, plants, animals, bacteria, and all the organisms which we thought. Each one infects only a specific type of host, and viral infection in humans can cause no symptoms or make you extremely ill. Number 21. Sanitization is a process by which dash option A the microbial load on object is reduced, option B objects are made sterile with chemicals, option C utensils are scrubbed, and option D skin is described. Option A the microbial load is reduced. Sanitization is a process by which the number of microorganisms on a surface is reduced to a safe level, or typically through a cleaning and disinfecting the method to meet the public health standard. 22. The temperature pressure combination for an autoclave is option A 100 degrees Celsius for 4 psi, option B 131 degrees Celsius and 9 psi, option C 121 degrees Celsius and 15 psi, Option D 115 degrees Celsius and 3 psi. So the right C, that is 121 degrees Celsius and 15 psi. An autoclave uses pressurized steam to sterilize material, and the standard setting ensures the effective cleaning of microorganism. Thus, the typical temperature and pressure combination is 121 degrees Celsius to 15 pound per square inch pressure, that is 15 psi. Question number 23. Uribaric are option A, the microorganism that can grow in the pressure range of 1 to 500 atmosphere. Option B, the microorganism which can grow at a subatmospheric pressure. Option C, a microorganism that reproduce a high pressure at high pressure but live normally at normal pressure. And option D, the microorganism which can grow normally at a high pressure but reproduced at a high pressure. So A, that is Uribaric are the microorganism which can grow in the pressure range from 0.1 to 500 atmospheric pressure. 24. Largest unit of radiation is option A, red, option B, gray, option C, kilogray, and option D, megared. Option D, that is megared. While megared is the largest unit of radiation, it is not considered the highest unit of radiation because the internationally accepted standard unit for a radiation dose is a gray, and 1 gray is equal to 100 radiation, whereas 1 mega radiation is equal to 10 kilograys. So ultimately, the largest unit of radiation is mega radiation. Question number 25. Can blackening is due to the option A, Salmonella, option B, Protease, option C, Clostridium thermosaccharolyticum, option D, Clostridium nigrifricans. Option A, that is Salmonella. Yes, in certain laboratory tests, a blackening effect on the agar plate can be an indicator of the presence of Salmonella bacteria, as some strains produce hydrogen sulfide which reacts with the medium to create a black precipitate, making the colonies appear dark or black. And this is often observed when using a selective medias like bismuth sulfide agar, specifically designed to identify the salmonella. Question number 26. Bacteria used in biopreservation produces dash. Option A, lactic acid, option B, hydrogen peroxide and diacetyl, option C, bacteriocins, and option D, all of the above. Option D, that is above listed, all the options are correct for biopreservation produces. Question number 27. Which of the following constituent are present in the selective media? Option A, protein, option B, minerals, option C, magnesium salt, and option D, sodium salt. So that is sodium salt. Basically, in selective media, sodium salt, chemical, dyes, antibiotics, and phages can be added, or it can be also present in selective media. Question number 28. Chemical method for estimating growth of molds is option A, ATP, option B, chitin, option C, pectin, and option D, lipids. Option B, that is chitin. Chitin has been used to estimate the quantifying fungal growth in plant, wood, grains, and foods. And there was an increase in the chitin content as the mold increased. However, the chitin assay showed more variability than other assay for detecting the fungal contamination. 29. Which of the following is the intrinsic factor for the microbial growth? Option A, relative humidity. Option B, AW, which stand as a water activity. Option C, preservative, and option D, packaging. Option B. Generally, intrinsic factor include those that are internal to The food product itself, such as nutrient content, pH level, water activity, redox potential, and other antimicrobial component acting as a defense mechanism against microbes. Fruit juice is spoiled by dash. Option A, yeast and molds. Option B, Clostridia. Option C, Enterobacteria. And option D, Enterococci. Option A, that is yeast and mold, generally are responsible for the spoilage of fruit juices. The relevant microorganism considered as a threat for a commercial fruit juices are yeast molds, while the protozoa and viruses can also cause a problem to a lesser extent. Yeast are generally the predominant spoilage of microorganism in fruit juices. So friends, thank you for watching this video. If you have any suggestions, kindly put your comments on our inbox. Okay friends, thank you so much. Stay tuned, stay connected for more videos.